So let's talk about how we're putting it together as neighbors and residents, because it does work together. So what we're looking at is, yes, this cutting edge technology will help us, do the early detection and the response. But the center pillar here is really building that connected community and starting to share insights around what we're seeing from a fire perspective. So Heather said it was, optional to put in burn piles and prescribed fire. My ask is that anyone who has the No Wildfire app does that. So we start to become a lot more cognizant of what we're doing when we're doing it. Right now, Facebook UBET community group has a lot of activity, but again, you have to go there to see it. So the difference is that this will come to you as an alert that says, hey, Lisa or Colleen is doing a burn pile today. And that information will be right at her fingertips, and then we can disregard it. So that's super important. And we're continuing to build the relationship with CAL FIRE and Peardale regarding this program. And I'm sure we'll see some modifications occur as we enter into key fire season. The sensors themselves, I just wanted to touch on that again because it's super interesting. Now that you downloaded the app, or when you do, if you choose to, you will be able to see where every exact spot is of each sensor. So you can click on that sensor and it will tell you literally exactly where it is. So Mike and I know when we see these green dots, follow the line up. We know that's Hanson's. We know that's Tim's place on Capitol. We know that this one down here, is where it's at Steve's property. So we know exactly where they are from a personal perspective. And that's super helpful as well, because if there's an alert on each sensor, those are the folks who will most likely be first in on that conversation, right? So they're the ones who will take a picture, do the comment, and say what they see. And we'll go from there. But you guys have access to see that. I also wanted to highlight what it looks like on your screen. So on the left side is what you see are sensors, and those are exact spots. This isn't just a pretend map. This is a real map. It comes right from the quote unquote app of the UBET sensors, and then how it marries up to the existing sensors in Colfax. So again, Sean is the program leader in Colfax, and he's on the call as well. And those sensors in the kind of blue dots are there. And I'm going to ask Sean if you wouldn't mind just giving us a quick overview of how you see the sensors working in your area. And you're muted, so you're going to have to unmute.
Hi, Casey.
Hi.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Happy to be here. And yeah, definitely thank you, Heather, for choosing our area to help test these sensors. So I kind of see these as being able to be that first alert. I'm trying to put mine in places where the cameras aren't gonna be able to necessarily see a fire when it first kicks off, especially in overnight, in some of the canyons and draws, and just try and get that early alert for everybody. So that way, even at the very least, we can point the cameras in the right direction and see what's going on.
Awesome. Well, thanks. We look forward to getting yours all set up.
Yeah, me too.
And yeah, and remember, fire does not respect or have any boundaries. So, when we look at the UBET boundary on the eastern side, it's Placer County, and that's what Sean's working on. So this is good security for all of us. Thanks, Sean, for joining us on today. Just another couple screenshots to show you what it looks like in real time or in real life testing. The one on the left shows you what the yellow alert signal looks like. And then down below, it says a fire warning. This was Hanson Brothers. I think probably 75% of those fire checks or smoke checks that Heather referenced over the winter came from Hanson's. That is a funnel, goes right up the greenhorn. And so oftentimes that sensor is the first to trigger. And then on the right of the screen, if you click into it, what's kind of cool there is it shows you kind of a topography look at it, but it gets you a little closer in, and basically you can say, okay, I know sort of where it is. Now you can see specifically where it is along the Greenhorn Creek there. The smoke from a burn pile would be the comment there when somebody said, hey, this is what's going on. So Just to bring it back out, zoom out kind of on a big picture, because a lot of information we've shared with you guys. Super simple. At the top, there's a spark, a fire ignition. The N5 sensors are in place. And the question is, does it detect smoke? If the answer is no, we go down to the right and bottom and just monitor the situation. If it says yes, our actions as a community, number one thing we do, call 911. If we go out and we're the one who's doing the ground truthing and we're checking to see that alert, if it has any, flames, if it has any smoke, if it's smoldering, what it is, if our answer is yes, first things first, call 911. Then you notify the UBET team. You do that via, if you have a radio, you set off the radio alarm, and you post your comments and your picture. But the very first thing you do, even before you put in a comment or a picture, is call 911. If you see flames, that's your first step. And then both entities, the first responders at the emergency dispatch and us, the UBET team, we initiate response. And depending on where it is, what it is, the guys and gals who've gone through our wildland firefighter training, they may go to it and they may not. So we'll make that call once we know what it is, where it is, and the nature of it. But that at a super simple level is kind of the process. Again, we've reiterated that we're working with both CAL FIRE and Peardale. They each have a very different protocol. Peardale is at this point simply having a designated mobile phone that stays at the station, and the on-duty firefighters will be monitoring the No Wildfire app, so it's one shared. That may change as we evolve, but we're still continuing to go that route. And we've had a very kind of, I say, streamlined conversations with CAL FIRE and how they're doing it as well. So we appreciate that. Here's just another look at our smoke alert protocol. And again, I'll make sure to get this out to everyone. But it's super important that we get that community verification so we know what kind of actions to take. And I want to really underscore too that an awful lot of the time, what we're going to be doing is de-escalating. So it's just as important to say nothing's happening and put everybody to rest and peaceful, as it is to sound the alarm on a fire, right? So close the loop on if there isn't anything to worry about, make sure that everyone knows it. Those of us on the radio program will put that word out as well.